Welcome to the Miniatures Paintbrush. Today we're going to talk about painting up some Tau drones. Now let's go down to the table town. All right, here we are at the table town. I'm going to tell you I use Dino-Res white primer on all my pieces. It's an easy way to do white. There's certain things that I use in here. White from FW Ink. We got Pro Acryl. When we have Temple Guard Blue from GW. All right, so we also have black model color. I love model color black. It is the maddest black out there, and Mechanics Standard Gray is something I heavily use for this tutorial. All right, so let's get to it. Okay, we're going to start with some Mechanics Standard Gray, and one of the things, and I forgot, some flow improver as well. Yeah, flow improver is definitely important. It's always on my wet palette. I do have a Masterson's wet palette. Redgrass Games just came out with a new wet palette. It's also very, very viable. This one gets the job done, so I'm happy with that. And it has Reynolds parchment paper in there. That's right, with the gridded one. So this way I can cut it to size and it's easier to do. I love this thing. A lot of people say, well, they're really curious about mold getting into some of these sponges, and they will. But the thing is, I actually wash it out with soapy water after I'm done with every project. So if I'm done painting my Tau, when I'm done painting my Tau drones, then I'll do that. And if I take a unit of something, and then I go and wash it again. So I never really do get mold on there. And if I do, I put little drops of alcohol in there. Okay, so now the first coat of Mechanics Standard Gray you're going to see is blotchy as all get out, and for this process, you have to be comfortable with the ugly phase, because that's exactly what this is going to be. It's the ugly phase. And you're going to see that a lot. It's going to be blotchy because this is like super watered down. Yeah, it really is. And doing thin coats allows for your brush strokes to basically disappear. So working with wet paint. I know, that sounds like, mind-blowing. Working with wet paint? Yeah, well, of course. Saturated paint, let's call it that. That's better. And you're going to see Mechanics Standard Gray. I use this for other pieces. Now, all the techniques you do here, you can use for any drone. These are the ones, I believe, for the stealth battle suit that I did right here. But I'm going to show you on a couple of different drones, and you can apply the same technique for your Tau if you're doing white Tau. I forgot the sept. I don't even know. I don't have the codex. I'm just enjoying painting my Tau right now. When the codex drops, probably get it and do a couple of games on my gaming table against my Space Wolves and see how they fare. Because everybody says, well, melee focused versus, all shooty army. Well, let me tell you something, okay? If you have terrain, then it just evens the playing field. People say that Tau is not in a good place right now. Honestly, I don't pay attention to this stuff in the meta and stuff like that, especially when I play with my games, because then I'm like bummed out before I even start. I'm not going to play a game army just because it's not well in the meta. I mean, win or lose, just have some fun with it. And if there is some deficiencies that are really, really prevalent, then if you're playing a game with friends, then change the rule or whatever, All right, here goes the second coat of Mechanics Standard Gray. You're going to see a huge difference going on in here. And you're going to see, like, the second coat really makes a difference here. And sometimes I go for the third coat. That's fine. You can go for a fourth or fifth. It just depends on how watered down you actually have yours. Mine's is pretty saturated right now. Although my brush, we're going to see it. I'm going to wiggle onto it there. I'm not adding any water to it. The wet palette itself is hydrating it at this point. I did add some flow improver because I do want it to flow over my brush. Now you're going to see some even temperamented strokes right there. I'm trying to get away from the stab, although stabbing has a place, especially when you're doing texture or something like that. But when you're coating like this, I'm working on long sweeping brush strokes. I'm really trying to do that more and often, so this way I have even more control, because if the only tool in your toolbox is a hammer, then every problem becomes a nail. And that's not true when it comes to miniature painting. There's so many different approaches that you can use to accomplish similar goals with varying effects depending on what you're going for. So you just need to add tools to your toolbox. So going for the short, and you're going to see I'm used to doing short things, because when I sketch on paper, I actually do a lot of different strokes like this, so I'm kind of used to like maybe that's why my hand shakes, who knows. Never know. All I know is I try to paint as many miniatures as possible, because who knows when I'm going to be able to, like, it's going to come a time where I can't paint miniatures because I can't see anymore, or my hands are too shaky, or whatever. So yeah, I do that. So now it's time to do some base coating on the bottom with black. There are times where I airbrush the whole thing black and then paint it over white, but I just wanted to remove that step, so I'm going to paint the bottom parts by hand. Usually when I do black over the white, I do a zenithal, and in the zenithal you'll get the top of the drone white and the bottom is already black, so that's another different way to do it. This is the way I'm doing it right here. Honestly, there's very little to no airbrushing in this entire video, so check that out, right? The only thing I airbrushed, honestly, was the base coat, the white primer on top, and then everything else is done with a paintbrush. You're going to see that right there. This speed up the time here, because I do take my time when it comes to painting miniatures, even though this is for me a speed paint, because I do go through drones. I think I did 10 in one evening. I don't know. The evening was very long and I probably didn't sleep that night. So in 24 hours, I guess, or in 20 hours, I don't know. I tried to look at time. I did add another clock to the background right there, and I have another clock over there, and I have a third clock over there, so I kind of like try to immerse myself in time, because I do get lost when it comes to painting miniatures and, you know, prepping miniatures. I can be down here for hours and not know where I am. Come on, guys. Who here is a basement dweller, or, you know, a time slip awayer? I don't know. Is that something? Time thief? Time bandit? Oh, great movie. All right, so I'm going to do a little more of the black since we're doing black. You're going to see me sometimes go into the flow improver just before I paint something. Again, working very, very saturated and going through some of these guns for the gun drones right here. Now, there's a lot of different schemes you can use. I'm going to go for traditional, doing the end piece in black. Now, there have other drones to add variety to it. I've done Mechanica Standard Gray back here, a two-tone black and Mechanica Standard Gray with parts of white in it. Like, I've played around with the guns, drones, and the consistency is not my thing. You know, it is. I mean, it matches the same color palette, but I like to have variety in all my miniatures. So I try, every one of my miniatures are a special little flower, so I try to do something a little different on every single miniature. I know that sounds insane, but it's true. I do try to add individuality for all my miniatures, because if not, I get bored with it. So I'm like, okay, this is going to be valid because it's I changed the color of the edge highlighting, for example. Speaking of edge highlighting, okay, so we're going to use that ink, and we're using a blue #1, and we are using some of that Temple Car blue as well, doing a little mixture of the three, getting the flow going through, and we're going to see you using the edge of the brush, not the tip of the brush, to go in there and do the bottom of the edge highlighting. And you're going to see that I'm a little meticulous, but then again, I am using a little broader stroke than I'm normally used to, trying to cover as much as possible with the details. And, you know, as far as edge highlighting, you only get good at it if you practice it. So if you're not doing this like 1,000 billion times, like I'm doing right here, you're going to see that you're going to get better at it the more you practice. But if you're not doing it, you're not going to get better at it. And you're going to be like, why can't I do this? You got to practice. Everybody puts in their time. I put in hours upon hours upon hours edge highlighting every single one of the drones, and all the Tau edge highlighting. And I'm actually incorporating a lot more edge highlighting into my painting style itself. Before it was just about non-existent. You know, if you look really closely at my older models, it's like, I didn't want to do edge highlighting, but you know, it really does make the miniature pop. So, you know, I invested more time into edge highlighting. Like, it was rare and very infrequent when I used to edge highlight. Now it's more common in my paint, and as I grow as a painter, to add that to my repertoire of detailing. Because yeah, sure, you can dry brush, but then you get that dry brush look, you know, and then you don't have control as to what edges it actually, you know, picked up. You know, it just, I don't know, looks kind of like, I don't know, it kind of looks always like stone to me. Anybody's dry brushing a lot, if let's say you have like little edges, like fur, like I do fur sometimes, and I have dry brush fur, and then I go back and I'm like, no, I repaint it and then do the edge highlighting, and I'm like, better. Or scale with a Dracolith. I do each individual scale and edge highlight each one, and man, does it pop. I mean, it really does pop. So when you're done with the bottom, you want to do the rims of the drone too, going around the top. You can see a variety of different drones right here. Just picking up some drone-tastic flavor. There's a lot more drones than this, and I painted a lot more drones than this. This is what I've gotten so far, and actually the thumbnail picture, you're gonna see all the drones that I painted thus far for my Get Her Done project. And there's a lot more to come, actually, because I'm just doing another Battle Force box right now. So I'm on my second Battle Force box that I'm doing this summer. Alrighty. Now to add some variety to it, my paint scheme has a little spot color of red, so I try to incorporate that here and there within my range of drones. And, you know, adding variety. If I have one, I'm going to change it up. And notice that I have two of these here. One is white with a Mechanicus Standard Gray line through it. This one is Mechanicus Standard Gray with a red sliding line through it. So you see, I'm trying to just vary it up. Even that little bit of a change is a change enough that it warrants a different like style. Like, I don't get bored painting the same thing over and over again, because there's always something different with every single one of my guys. And that goes for my infantry too. I know, it's crazy. It's great. I think I have 40 fire warriors to paint up, and or is it 50? I don't know. I don't even know. I don't know. I'm getting through it. I did 20 so far, and I got another 10 on the block, so that's going to be 30. And yeah, I'm gonna have some fun with it. And I think I have some breachers. I don't know. I gotta look. Anyway, pill bottles are your friend, and I know it's kind of your enemy too. Look at that. Look at those lenses. I'm gonna just do lenses, and I'm gonna do a separate video on just lenses. This is gonna be a layering lens effect, more GW style. So I'm gonna start with dark Prussian blue. It's an overall coat to the lens, and then Temple Guard blue as my mid-tone, and then some bold titanium white from Pro Acryl, and we're gonna get to it. All right, so let's see what we do first. So first thing is dark Prussian blue. I'm gonna cover everything that's going to be a lens in dark Prussian blue. Now, this is not by any means the only way to do it. Wet blending goes a long way when it comes to lenses, but this is just dirty, quick, and easy lens coverage right here. So we're going to hit all the areas with dark Prussian blue. Just make sure that all the lenses, not just the forward one, because these drones actually have lenses going all the way around, so it has 360 sight, really, all the way around it. So that's pretty cool. And I didn't notice that until I started painting them, and I was like, oh wow, look at that, they have 4 lenses. That's amazing. You do get better at painting lenses by doing a drow. I was thinking D&D for a second. For doing a Tau, not a drow, army. Now, with it wet, I'm going to come in and I'm going to do the Temple Guard blue, and I'm just doing the half moon. That's all I'm doing. So lower right-hand side, you're going to see a half moon. I'm just getting that little half moon, that little C on the bottom there. You're going to see that right there. I'm going to do that for all of them. You're going to see that very clearly. that I'm getting that little C on the edge. And if you go overboard, that's okay, because you could always go back with some dark Prussian blue and cover it. You can go back and forth until you get it right. Take your time, get it right. You can do it. Tau drones, do it tonight. Okay, I'll show you that. Okay, the little C on the sides there, going all four, and you see you get that practice right there. And the flow improver is there, so that means I don't have to redip my stick in the wet palette. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. All right. So I'm going back and just defining some areas, getting some more color where I want it, because I want it that way, because it's like that, and that's the way all right. I'm gonna stop that. I'm gonna stop that right now. All right, so next up, let's see what we got here. Okay, so the white dot, this is the boop. It's that lens flare boop, like boop. And then you can put a little bit on the edge, just edge highlighting, a second edge highlighting right there, add character to it. I'm going to do that for a little boop on the end. Boop. You're going to see that right there. There it is. Just a fine tip brush right there. And I'm leaning my hand on the pill bottle. It's giving me a little more control with the brush right there. Always pay attention to my hand holds because they're quite telling. All right. Look at that. Pretty cool. Okay. Looking pretty good. Gives that illusion of a lens. That's it. That's all there is to it. See that? Awesome. All right, some slide transfer slides. I'm going to put that in there just to add some character to it. And you can add any slide transfer you wish to your amazing drones right there if you're following this tutorial. Just put it on, and then with it wet, I slide it into place with a brush. So I can get it exactly where I want it, and I leave it. If it's a non-conforming place or doing uneven surfaces, I use microsole or microset on decals, but if not, then I just leave it. If it's well, I leave it well alone. I do go and do ultra matte varnish and tone down the glossiness of my decals. Okay, time for the Forbidden Peanut Butter. This is a sandy desert diorama, and I have some Green Stuff's World leaf litter, and then some of my trademark road gravel from the end of my driveway. That's just crushed up rock from all the cars crushing it to the point where it becomes just like fine dust, almost, with little pebbles. WWS for my tufts. I'm going to put that in there. But you're going to see all this in detail in my Tau Sandy base video. So if you want to watch just the sandy bases and how I do that, I show you how I do it on one of my bigger models right there. All right, some leaf litter right there. This is my sandy base. You can do so. AK Interactive has a range of different kinds of basing materials. It's absolutely amazing, and I'm not sponsored by them, but I think they're awesome. Okay, time for a pin wash with a stick pen, and it's an oil wash, right? So it's a black oil wash using mineral spirits and Winsor & Newton wind tin oil paint, using that, and that's this black, ivory black, and it just flows into those recesses, so you don't have to paint those black recessed lines in, because those black recessed lines are so tough, you know. So just trying to make it easy, using that stick pen, and it's pretty amazing. You can, I got mine on Amazon. I don't know, there's different brands out there, but it's pretty cool to do that, because you have a lot more control. I realized I try to do it with a brush, and yeah, you get the brush, but the stick pen is like boop right in the recess, and it is gorgeous. Look at that, done. And then any excess that you have, you can always go back with a Q-tip and some mineral spirits and wash it off. Now, gloss varnish is your friend before you do this step, although I didn't gloss varnish here. So yeah, I just hit it raw. But gloss varnish will make it flow even better. But I'm not a fan of gloss varnish. I don't know why. I should hit it with gloss varnish more often, but I haven't hit my miniatures with gloss varnish like ever. That's never a step in my painting process. Personally, you know, you could do it all you want, but before decals and before doing washes, oil washes, than people normally do, you know. You probably make more sense than I do. when it comes to painting it. Okay, so next up, oh yeah, switching from one pill bottle to the next because it's a little higher up and it's a little way off, so I can do the rim of those bases. I like to do the rim of the bases black for the drones, just so I can match my army. You know, if you don't have to do the steps, but if you want to do the step, there it is, and that's how you do it. Very using this. It's just like an edge highlighting because it's a smaller rim base than any of the other rims that you're going to see for your Tau army if you are indeed playing a Tau army. So awesome stuff here. I like the Tau. I like the Tau because they are for the greater good. Vallejo metal color gold. Here it goes for the accents, this last bit. Yeah, they're for the greater good. That's how they're trying to bring unity to the galaxy. They're not like, they have ethereals that just they give absolute power to, and like, you know, Space Marines are like, you know, that's kind of nefarious, and you're just like totally loyal to that. Anyway, here's just a little bit of the drones that I have so far in my Get Her Done challenge that I've done, and a variety of which it was a lot of fun using the exact same techniques that you saw within the video. And you know, I really hope you wish you success when you do your Tau drones. For you, I'm embracing the Asian vibe with using the Japanese lettering on it. I thought that was pretty cool. Alrighty, so let's escape from Tabletown and come back here. Subscribe if you haven't done so already, and hit the bell notification so you can see all my uploads. This video is made possible by my Patreon supporters. I'd like to thank Meg McBroom and Emily Yasesko. Thank you so much for supporting me every week. I'm eternally grateful every month for your contributions. I don't do much on Patreon. I just do the shout outs. I could do some personal, like if you called me and say, hey, how do I paint this? I'll be like, yeah, I'll help you out. Sure. No problem. Let me see. Let me get a model out. Let me paint it for you, like right in front of you. Well, not in front of you, but you know, like doing the video chat stuff. We could do that too. Consider becoming a Patreon member. Join the Miniatures Paintbrush Legion, and you're going to see me within the Legion. Become my friend on Facebook, and then I can do those tutorials for you. No problem. Let me know. But time is limited. This is not my day job. If I had a ton of Patreon supporters and like my channel blew up, then maybe it could be. Treverian did it. I don't know. Well, if you found this video helpful, and I only did drones, I just did a general video. That's interesting. More Tau stuff on the way. I'm also working on a Rain in Hell campaign with my wife, who has finished her Cabal and named her Cabal Fire Force. I mean, awesome, right? All right. Well, if you liked this video and you found it helpful, like, share, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you next time on the Miniatures Paintbrush.